Hey y'all, and welcome back, and welcome to another Will I Buy It talking about new makeup releases going live on a Saturday. It has been a while since I've done this. I think, gosh, probably since I first got pregnant at the beginning of the year. It's been a while since I've been able to do these videos, but I do want to start back as much as I'm able to. I made an announcement on my community tab saying I wanted to start doing these. I don't know if I'm going to get to them every single weekend, maybe every other weekend. We'll see how it goes, but I'm going to do my best, and I'm just excited to get back into them. As you saw, I didn't have any making my coffee yet because honestly my house is a disaster. We are closing on our house in a couple of days from the time you're seeing this. We're going to close on the house that we're selling, so we're getting everything out of that house and just dumping it in this house currently. So I'm living in a bit of a madhouse, so no fun videos because it would not be a fun video, just would be me tripping over all the boxes that are in our house currently. So yeah, hopefully we'll get to that because I do enjoy having some coffee, and I always enjoyed having that little intro in my Will I Buy It videos. And I'm also going to be tweaking it a little bit and doing it a little bit differently, kind of in the vein of Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner. When she would do Will I Buy It, she would do a top 5, a bottom 5 from recent makeup releases. And so that's what I want to do with this video, just to help me make the videos more manageable for me to put out and not make them so long. So I went through all the releases that caught my eye from this past week, and I picked my top 5 that I thought were just really cool releases that I want to talk about, and also bottom 5 that I was just like, yeah, no thank you. So we're going to be talking about those two and just talking about 10 new makeup releases from this past week. So if that sounds fun to you, we can get on into it. As always, I do want to put out there that this video is inspired by Angelica Niequist, Samantha March, Amy Loves Makeup, and now Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner. Gonna have to put their pictures here and redo my little graph that I usually put on the screen, but anyway, it is inspired by them. I always link them down below in the description box if you want to check them out, as they are the originators of this type of video that I do on my channel. And with that said, I think we can go ahead and jump right into the new makeup releases. So I wasn't sure how to structure if I should do all of the, bottom 5 first and then do the top 5 to end on a good note. So for this first video, I'm gonna go back and forth. So we're gonna talk about one of the bottom 5 and then we'll talk about one of the top 5. If that sounds good, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below in the comments if you'd like to hear all of the bottom 5 first and then the top 5, just to make it less confusing. But for this video, like I said, I'm gonna start with what for me was a fail of a launch, or just the bottom or least exciting type of launch from this week, and then we'll move on to a favorite and go back and forth like that. Let me turn on my screen recording. I always like to do this so that as we're talking about it, I can zoom up on things, put it over here, and you guys can see in real time what I'm talking about. But the first thing that we're going to talk about is a fail for me, and this is the Urban Decay, their new, what is this even called? Half Baked Sin and Foxy Naked Mini Eyeshadow Palettes. I looked at the covers of these and I was like, okay, Urban Decay might be coming out with something cool, but let's go ahead and go over so we can see the insides of these palettes, because that's where it just goes downhill fast. This is Sin, this palette up here. Looks like their Urban Decay 3, just a mini version of it. Then if we scroll down, we have Half Baked, which just looks like their OG, I feel like, Half Baked. I mean, didn't they have a couple palettes, mini palettes that looked exactly like this? And then next up was their green eyeshadow palette. This is Foxy, and it's a neutral palette with 1, maybe 2 shades that lean a little huntery green. I don't know. I don't see where this pretty green gold on the lid is in this palette, but that's the Foxy palette, and I'm just like, okay, Urban Decay, how can you nail it so much with the covers of these palettes and then have the insides be so boring? Because the covers do look really, really cool in my opinion. I think they look nice, and if that green one, Foxy, looked anything as interesting on the inside as it does on the outside, I would be kind of tempted. And Urban Decay actually did send me one of them. I think it's the Sin one. Yeah, the Sin. So I got the Sin. I'm gonna just put it aside for a giveaway because, I mean, we just saw it, but here I can go ahead and show you really quick. This is what the inside looks like. It's, in my opinion, let me go ahead and show you guys, or the promo. So there's the promo, and then there's the inside. In real life, in person, looking at these, it does look a lot lighter in person than it does on the promo. So I was just kind of like, okay, I'm not even halfway, not even a spark of curiosity in me to try this palette, so I'll just be saving it and putting it in a future giveaway. Many thanks to Urban Decay for sending it to me, but I mean, maybe I would have tried Foxy if I had gotten Foxy, but even with that Foxy being more green, I really struggle to see any kind of the green in this palette right here. It just looks like a neutral with a hint of green in all of the neutral browns and whatnot. So this, I think, is pretty obvious for you guys to see why, but this was definitely a big fail for me. Let's talk about a top 5, and this is also little palettes. This is a new to me brand. This is Beautiful Shells Cosmetics. This is the Karma Chameleon Quads. It struck me because when I first saw it, it just made me think of DD Signature, and anytime I think of DD Signature, I get a little sad. If you didn't know, they did have to close down their shop, so they're no longer, I don't know if they're like officially closed down, you can't get it anymore, or they're still discontinuing their products, but they are shutting down, which is so sad. But anyway, let's look at these palettes. It just really reminded me of them because she had those quads. This one really reminds me of one of them. This is the, which one is this? The Peach. Looking at the color wise, I don't feel like it's as dead on the nose for the shimmers, but the mattes do remind me of that Peach palette. They have Iris, I think this one is, or Kiwi. They have names down here. So anyway, there's a green one. This one has 2 matte greens that look awful close to each other, and then 2 different type of greens that do have like a difference with them. I do like that there are 2 greens, but they're very different greens. Then they have this one, which maybe this is the Iris one. I'm not sure. But it has like the pink and the purple, or the red and the purple. This shade right here looks super pretty. Very nice. And then they have this one, Copper, I guess. I don't know, a red and orange. Look how blinding that one looks like. I am so curious to see what texture these are, because just looking at them in the swatches, they remind me of that DD Signature where they're so smooth, they're so blinding, they look wet on, but they're not thick and textured. I'm just so curious. And then this blue one, what was that? Indigo. And this one has 2 mattes, and I think all of them have 2 mattes and 2 shimmers. The blues, the matte blues, I do like to see that there is a difference between the 2 shades. The shimmers look a little close, but there is a subtle difference. One has a little bit of purple in it, so I will allow. Not that that means anything. But anyway, here's a look at all of them. I thought this was a really cute collection, and like I said, those shimmers really intrigued me to see what type of shimmers they are. If they are that type of shimmer that's really smooth, but just like so wet looking and so blinding. I don't know, this one kind of tempted me, and if I was more into quads, I feel like I might have picked them up because I do like the color stories. I like the monochromaticness of it, and it just looks very promising when it comes to the shimmers. Talking about the mattes, I don't know, some of these swatches look like it might have been on a wet skin, or maybe just damp. That's why it's kind of showing that darkness around it. But overall, I feel like they look pretty decent with the matte swatches and the shimmers. So I don't know. I'm very curious, definitely intrigued. Like I said, this is a brand new brand to me. Beauty Shells Cosmetics, indie makeup brand. Beautiful Shells with a Z. Looks like they got other palettes, so I don't know. But that little collection, I was like, that's pretty cute. I'm kind of into it, so I'm putting it as one of my top 5. I don't plan to pick it up. I got a lot of palettes, but I'm definitely eyeing this collection. I was eyeing it this week, and it's definitely, and now the brand is kind of like on my radar. I was like, oh, I didn't know they existed before, but they did a good job with this collection. Okay, a bottom 5. This is ColourPop. Oh, ColourPop. This is their, what is this collection called? Resting Beach Face Collection. I saw this initially and was like, okay, I feel like I should like this because it's got green in it. But the more I looked at it, the more I didn't like it. And the thing that is hard for me to grasp with this is that it looks like a very neutral palette with just some beautiful lime greens thrown in. And the lime greens are, for me, jarring. I know some people really do like it, so maybe this is a palette for them who does enjoy green but likes to stick to the neutrals. But for me, I just felt like this was just a very jarringly not cohesive looking palette, and it's just, the greens don't flow or don't seem to fit. I just feel like it stands out. Someone had DM'd me and said, I thought it was like one of those mock-ups that people will do where they put a palette together with colors and be like, I wish this was a thing, because it just, I don't know, it just almost looked not real the first couple times I saw it, and I was like, yeah, I agree, because it just, I don't know, something about this for me personally, the greens don't really go. I feel like I'm very much in the unpopular opinion though, because I feel like a lot of people have been excited for it, but I found this swatch from Deandra Nicole, and I thought this was so interesting because this, if you look at it, it just definitely convinced me that I don't need this palette, because like in this one swatch, which is like half the palette, there's one green and everything else is super neutral in my opinion, with a little coral and maybe a mustard in there. Very neutral, heavy on the browns, and then the next row, all the lighter tones, you got like 2, 3-ish greens, and then everything else is very neutral, beigey, you got a little pink in there, and that's it. I saw this and I was like, yeah, the palette isn't a green neutral palette. It's just like a neutral palette with a couple random bright greens thrown in there. And while I love those tones of greens, that's the only part that tempts me a little bit. It just doesn't flow. It's such a large palette. I'm just not tempted. And I think this, yeah, she also did this, which I thought was super helpful. So she did the top. She took all the greens from the Getting Fresh palette and swatched them. All the really bright greens from the neutral palette, 4 of them total for that big palette. And then in the bottom swatches, she went to the ColourPop palettes that had similar greens and swatched them. So the first one's from the Tinkerbell palette, then you have the Limelight palette, then you have the Just My Luck palette, and the last one is in the Limelight palette. Oh, it's also from the In the Limelight palette. So yeah, seeing these swatches, I was like, okay, I definitely don't need it, because those colors right there, those swatches, those 4 in that whole palette are the only thing that grabs me out of this whole palette. So seeing that, I was like, okay, I feel good. I don't need it. Moving on. This was just a big fail for me. If you liked it, if you were excited for it, I totally understand that. Like I said, I feel like I'm just missing something here, because I feel like I saw a lot of people saying, I'm into this, but for me personally, it fell flat. Let's talk about ColourPop launch I was actually kind of into, and not into personally wanting to get it, but into as in like, okay, I like that color story, I like that color combo, but this is the new One and Done collection. It's kind of a cowgirl theme because it has a little, you know, horseshoe on there, but it was really cutely done, I think, because it's got a lot of the browns in there, but there's those hot pinks thrown in there, with the cover being so heavy on the kind of brown horsehide type of picture there with the pink horseshoe. I thought this was a very cohesive and pretty palette. Did it tempt me to want to get it because of the color story? Not really, because I'm not super into browns and hot pinks, but this is one that I was like, okay, I think that's cute. Like, I like the whole aesthetic of it. If I was into the outer packaging, I would probably be more into the inner, you know, inner color story that it has, and this is just one of those that's like the outside matches the inside, the outside's super cute, the inside goes with it really well. I was proud of ColourPop for this launch, I guess you could say. Not planning to get it, not planning to pick it up, not that tempted for this color story, but I do like a hot pink with brown. I think that's a pretty combo, and it's got, especially this hot pink down here, that matte one, if it shows up on your eyes, like it. I think that's really pretty. I do appreciate that they didn't just do a couple of hot pink shimmers and call it a day. Like you can see, this one appears to be matte, so you can work with that into other shades and have more versatility in the different type of neutral and pink looks that you can get. And I mean, the bronzers and blushes also look super cute with the imprint and all that, the packaging. I don't know, this is a collection as a whole. I was just like, well done. I think that is cute. I'd love to hear what you guys think down below in the description box and whatnot, and just to hear your thoughts on if you're into this collection or not. Okay, back to a bottom 5. We're going to talk about these new Maybelline, what are they called? Shadow blocks. What are these? I saw them and I was just like, this feels kind of dated for what's coming out right now. I feel like the bulkiness of this packaging and having just one shadow in each of the little levels just doesn't, I don't know, it's not something that you're seeing a lot of right now. It's more like sleek packaging, maybe not huge palettes, but you know, a lot of those 6-pan palettes and stuff like that. So to see that they took their single shadows and just made them big and bulky to stack them like that, I was just like, ugh. It's a definite no for me. I think maybe some people would enjoy this. Maybe if you travel, it's nice and secure, but then it's just really bulky to fit into your makeup case. For me personally, I have something really thin, so I need thin things to fit in there to fit a lot of stuff in my makeup travel case. So for me, this would be a definite no for traveling because it's just way too thick. And it's also only 3 shadows. I mean, I appreciate with the green one that they at least made the green matte, the green, but then they just have, in almost each one of the quads, they just have this kind of my color or a little bit lighter type of bone looking shadow that's just a matte. I don't know, kind of a throwaway shade. If you're wanting this for travel, you could just use your foundation color or like a, you know, some type of setting powder or something. And just have, I don't know, more interest in there. I don't know, I wasn't into the color stories of any of these little 3 trios, and I wasn't into the packaging. And I can't say much more besides that. Easily landed in my bottom 5 from this past week. All right, swinging back to top 5, let's talk about something that I thought was really cool. This is from the brand Beauty Glaze, and they have 2 different type of palettes from what I can see. I don't think they go together, but you can buy them together. If you can see down here, one half is like the butterfly on that side, butterfly on this side. I wonder if they're magnetic maybe. I don't know. Or can you buy them together? I'm not sure, but it's coming soon. We don't have a ton of information about it, but the thing that struck me, not only did I just like this side of it, obviously, but someone shared a picture comparing this side of it to Beauty Bay's Wilderness palette, and then this side of it to that other palette that Beauty Bay came out with. I didn't pick it up, but it was like the same type of color story, and it was a limited edition like the Wilderness palette, and I think it came out right before, right after the Wilderness palette. It's like that. So if you missed out on either one of those limited edition palettes from Beauty Bay, this would give you that color story. No idea to the quality of the shadows. This is Beauty Glaze. I'm not familiar with the brand, but solely on color story wise, if you missed out on those and you really like them, and I mean the packaging, like I said, with the butterflies, I really like that. That's really pretty, and I just like how you can buy them both and they pair together. That's cute. Looking at the swatches, honestly, the swatches look very promising. I'm not super mad at it. The shimmers don't look like anything super special or intense, metallic, or anything like incredibly sparkly. But the mattes look nice, and I mean the shimmers look nice. They just look like more subtle, more, you know, not super sparkly type of shimmers. They look just like nice shimmers. But the mattes look really nice, you know, in the swatches and whatnot. They look intense and pigmented, so, oh yeah, and then there they are together. I think that's cute. I think that's a really neat idea. Color Flame, meet your match. Are they both just called the same thing? I'm not sure. But anyway, I just thought this was really well done. I like the color stories, very intriguing color stories. And yeah, I'm curious to see more information about it, see how much it is. I don't think Beauty Glaze as a brand is a very expensive brand, so I think it'll be like on the affordable level, but coming for you. Now we look for collaboration. Oh, are they collaborating with someone? I'm not sure. But more information to follow, but I did just see it this past week, so I wanted to share it. It's definitely an eyeshadow palette coming out that definitely sparked my interest. Kind of tempted. Probably won't pick it up since I do have the Wilderness and I have a ton of palettes to settle with. But if you guys would like to see a comparison, like really side-by-side comparison, maybe on the eyes comparison with this side of the palette and the Wilderness palette, let me know down in the comments. Maybe get your friends to let me know down in the comments, and if I have enough comments, then maybe I'll pick this palette up to do a comparison, because I'm kind of tempted and curious myself to see how they would look side by side, but if there's not a whole lot of interest, I'll probably save myself the money and the time of buying another palette to test out. All right, back to bottom 5. This was a release I was just kind of like, we've seen this a million times. This is from Too Faced. This is the Better Than Chocolate collection, and here is a close-up of the palette. This literally feels just like all of their chocolate bar palettes, kind of a little bit of each of them taken and combined together, because it doesn't look anything different than what Too Faced usually puts out when it comes to their chocolate bar collection. They always have that blue in there. They always got some type of like huntery green in there. A couple, you know, they always got the gold. A couple of them have like the pink and the purple in it. It's got a bunch of really, you know, warm type of neutrals. It looks like every other palette, honestly. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, the packaging, presentation, palette wise, packaging and whatnot, all that is very, very nice. These lipsticks look gorgeous. But when we're talking just about the color story, and I mean, while the packaging is pretty, I do feel like I like their, what was it, melted chocolate? I have it, chocolate gold. I have it back up there. It was really, really pretty. That's probably my favorite packaging that they've ever done for the chocolate bars. So, I don't know. This was just a really big fail for me. I saw it and I was just like, is this new? It's just kind of like intensified, and there's more saturation, which I do appreciate, but it's the same colors. Alright, I think this is my last top 5, but this is a new palette from Electrum Cosmetics, and it is launching Friday, 12 p.m. Okay, it's already launched at this point, but this is a new palette coming out. Look at how pretty this palette looks. Let me see if I can get a close-up of just the palette here. This is a really intense, beautiful looking color story. There's mattes in there that I think are really fun. There's that one beigey, kind of maybe like a mustardy beige lunar. I don't know, a bit of a throwaway for me, but the other two mattes look pretty. And I mean, look at that green. Look at that hot pink. It's like hot pink on purple, and then there's a darker one up there. And I appreciate like all these close-up shots. This is probably my favorite one. Moonbeam. Wow, that's so pretty. But then look at this, is like an iridescent type of toppery shade, but then you have a more pigmented, or maybe that's it. I can't even figure out some of these swatches. Oh my goodness, look at this matte purple. Such intensity. Electrum Cosmetics, I don't know a ton about, but like those mattes, they look intense. And then, oh, look at that. That's beautiful as well. I like that type of shade also. Yeah, this just looks like really neat type of color story. Very grungy, but the purple and green is a beautiful combo with that blue in there as well. It's intriguing for sure. I think I saw this and I was like, oh, I like this. And I guess the two bigger shades on the bottom, are they just supposed to be highlighters? I think that's really neat. And then to have the colors on top for more eyeshadow, not that you have to only use the highlighters for highlighters or blush toppers or anything like that, but I just like the way they put this together. I like the color story. That green just screams at me. Wow, that's so pretty. Are they supposed to be monochromatic or multi-chromes? I don't think so. Maybe they're like duochromes. They definitely look like they have shifts to them. I just don't know how strong or how many shifts they have. But this is really pretty. Never tried Electrum Cosmetics. I don't plan to pick this up just because I got a lot going on, and while I think it's beautiful, I am not having a hard time saying no, so we're just gonna roll with it. I'm gonna say no, but it's definitely a launch from this past week that caught my attention and that I was like, yeah, that is really pretty. Okay, I think I miscounted. This is the last fail. We have one more hid. But anyway, the last fail for me is going to be from Makeup by Mario. This is a soft sculpt transforming skin perfector. It's a 3-in-1 powder to perfect, illuminate, blur, and set for a radiant glow. It's a multi-purpose perfector, and it has a bronzer, highlighter, and finishing powder. Bronzer, powder, finishing powder, and highlighter. I remember IT Cosmetics coming out with something like this, and I remember trying it, and it was just a hot mess express. Because it's ombre like this, like trying to just get your brush in like the bottom section where it's actually matte, it's very tricky. Or trying to just get the top section where it's highlighter can be a little bit trickier, but you know, that's honestly a little bit easier because you do have a smaller brush. But as you're using it as well, you know, as you're using all the shades, it gets a little bit more muddied, so you just end up having sparkle in your bronzer. And then when it comes to setting, like, what am I setting that I want to be that sparkly for like a highlighter or that luminous? I didn't get this product when IT Cosmetics launched it, and I don't get it now that Makeup by Mario launched it. I remember when IT Cosmetics launched it and everyone was just kind of like, maybe neat idea for the concept, but like actual execution and using it and practicality using it, not so much. So I'm surprised he went this route because, like I said, I don't remember it getting rave reviews back then, but it's something new coming from Makeup by Mario, and it's a very easy pass for me. I was just like, yeah, no, this is a definite fail for me. I remember trying to work with the IT Cosmetics one, so there's no part of me that wants to try to work with this one. So short and to the point, it's not an eyeshadow palette, so I can't go on and on about it, but this was a makeup release or a face makeup release that I was just like, oh, no thank you. Okay, last one. This is from HipDot. This is HipDot and Girl Scouts. I thought this was really cute. HipDot always gets me with the packaging. I don't think I've ever bought anything from HipDot yet. I don't think I have, but they do launches and I'm always like, kind of tempted, really cute, but I've never picked anything up. But this one, I mean, I always loved the Girl Scout Thin Mints, and then the Girl Scout, what was that other one that had like the coconut and the chocolate? It had like chocolate bottom and then the coconut. Oh, there it is. There's the cookie right there. That's the cookie I'm talking about. That was my all-time favorite. I love that even over Thin Mints, or their like minty Thin Mint cookie. That cookie was so good. And now that I'm looking at it and pregnant, I kind of want one right now. But anyway, getting a little sidetracked. I thought the color stories were cute. It's a neutral palette with 2 greens in there, but I like the greens. They're matte greens, which I feel like a lot of times when people want to throw in color, but want it to be super neutral, they'll just throw in like a very light shimmery, colorful color. But they did 2 mattes, so I like that. There's only 1 shimmer from what I can see. In this picture for the greens, there's only 1 shimmer in the palette. All the other ones are matte, so that's a lot of versatility with working in your crease and whatnot. I think it's cute. And then up here, this one, I don't know the names to either one of them. I guess this one is the chocolate Thin Mint one that I liked, and this one is that other one. I don't really see purple or like this maroon shade when I see this coconut chocolate cookie, but okay, I will allow it, because if they stuck to the cookie, it would have just been a, you know, a very brown and golden type of palette. But anyway, color story wise, just looking at this palette, I think it's really cute as well. I like the maroons in there, the mattes in there. I can't really see, is this an all matte palette? I can't really see if there's a shimmer in here. I feel like there would be a shimmer. I like that black. There's a gray in there, which I feel like is a very fun combination with the maroon. The white, if it's a nice bright white, that would be pretty. I don't know. I just think this is very nicely done. Yeah, it looks like that's an all matte palette. Let me go to HipDot and see if they have any other pictures since launching this. Yeah, it does look all matte. That's so much more intriguing too. An all matte palette, you guys know that always intrigues me just a wee bit more. And then there's 1 shimmer, a gold shimmer, which I like a gold shimmer. I think gold shimmer, it can be very pretty with color in the outer corner and whatnot. These brushes also look really cute. I just honestly right now really want one of these cookies. Oh me. If I wasn't so busy after naps, I probably would stop somewhere to pick one up. Even a knockoff version will do right now. But anyway, I think this is a cute collection. I saw that and I was like, oh, that's so cute. I like the color story. It's not anything super unique. It's not anything super captivating. Obviously, that makes me say I'm going to go out and, you know, pick this up right now. But it's cute. It caught my eye. I give it a thumbs up. I thought they did a good job, and it definitely a little tempted. Definitely, obviously makes me want some Girl Scouts. So marketing, win-win. But yeah, that's going to be the last top 5 from this past week. I thought it was a cute collection. Let me know what you guys think down below. All right, so there you have it. My top 5 and bottom 5 for new launch launches from this past week. Let me know what you guys think. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on all these new makeup releases. Can't wait to hear what you guys think of the structure of these videos. And like I said, I'm just excited to be getting back into them. I'm not gonna rehash out how I don't know how often I will do these, but I'm gonna try my best to do them as frequently as I can because I really do enjoy getting to talk about new makeup releases. I was doing them on live streams, which I think is my favorite way to do new makeup releases because when I do them live, like we get to talk in the moment and then it's saved as a video that people can watch or I can watch later and hear in the moment what you guys are thinking of, and I can, like, you know, share what you guys are thinking of as you're leaving comments and stuff like that. So I really came to love doing Will I Buy It's live with you guys, but at the current moment my situation for internet is not good and it was freezing a lot, and a lot of people were leaving comments about how it's like annoying that it's not working, which I totally get. It would be annoying to watch someone freeze every couple seconds as they continue talking. So I totally get, and I'm putting a pause on live streams, but eventually when things settle down, if I can get it figured out, I would like to return to doing live streams. So that is my goal or my hope for the future, and I just think it's so fun to get to talk with you guys in the moment, and yeah. I really come to enjoy live streaming. So anyway, with all that said, that is going to do it for me. Let me know your thoughts down below. As always, I'm over on Instagram. I'm LadyKatie92 over there, and I post reels, up close eye pictures. Try to just have fun on Instagram. That's my goal, is to just put quick little videos, not too much time into it, because you can get sucked in on Instagram. Don't put too much time into it, but I love sharing little reels, eye tutorials, fun little transitions, stuff like that over there. So I'm over there if you ever want to follow me. And with all that said, I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye.